All right, we're through the first quarter of the NFL season, more importantly, the first quarter of the Pittsburgh Steelers season, and I'm trying something new here. I want to do a quarter analysis every quarter of the Pittsburgh Steelers season. So that's the first 4 weeks of the season for you individuals who don't understand what the hell a quarter means. If you don't know what a quarter means, get away from my channel. We have intellectuals here, but we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So number one, we're going to break down the offense, defense, and the special teams as well. Also injury report here and there, and also that little bit of Le'Veon Bell situation that we're hearing that he might be coming back at week 7, but we're not talking about that until the end of the damn video. Of course, this was supposed to be recorded yesterday, but a brother got a whole lot of stuff on his plate to take care of. So we're doing it today, and then shortly after this video is uploaded, we will have the pregame for the Falcons, because I can never forget to hype up Steeler Nation. So first, let's jump right into it, all right? Because we can't break into it. You got to jump into it. So number one, we talk about our offense. We're going to break down the offense. We are 10th in the league in points per game. This is through the first 4 weeks. So let's just disregard whatever happened on Thursday between the Colts and the Patriots. We're not talking about that. More importantly, the stats are not through week 5. They're week 4. So keep that in mind. Number one. All right. So we're number 10 in points per game. We need to increase that because over the duration of the past 5 to 6 years, we have been in the top 7. All right. More importantly, the top 5, I believe, over the course of the last couple of years, if I remember correctly. We were in that range, somewhere around there. But top 10, that ain't cutting it. All right. We got to get higher than that. I think we're at about 25 something. We got to increase that. Get to 28, 29, possibly 30. That would be more optimal for our team. The goddamn camera cut off. But like I was saying, we need to increase our points. More importantly, Chris Boswell, you need to make your kicks. Why? You've missed 3 out of your 6 this season. If you make those kicks, we probably average more points per game. Moreover, it changes the way that we've played in those games as well. But we got to increase our points per game. Next, we are top 3 in the league when it comes to passing yards. Number 6 in passing yards per game. So we're talking total because Ben Roethlisberger is leading the league in passing right now. But we got to be able to throw the football effectively. As you can see, regarding yardage perspective, we're doing that. However, there's a downside. Our completion percentage, our passer rating, because I wrote these things down, are in the bottom half of the league. What does that mean? We're getting yards, but we're being extremely inefficient when we're getting those yards. We've got to increase our completion percentage. Why is that? I've covered it throughout the first 4 weeks of the season. We got bad timing on the routes. We got some bad passes being thrown. Guys not knowing where they're supposed to be. Sometimes the protection is failing, so the ball's coming out earlier. Or maybe sometimes the ball's coming out later. Issues like this have to be fixed. All right, the small intangibles, the little things, we got to get that fixed. Next, when we talk about turning the football over, we have 9 total turnovers on offense. We got 5 interceptions, 4 of course in the first, I believe that was the first week against the Browns, and then we have 1 since that point. Also, we got 4 fumbles that we ended up losing. All right, our turnover differential right now is -2. We cannot win games if we're losing the turnover differential. All right, we've got to be able to not only take the football away from the opposing team, but protect the football ourselves. We can't play effective offensive football like this. Can't turn over the ball. Remember, James Conner, game against the Browns, you have an opportunity to run out the clock here. You're fumbling the ball away. You put him in position to put up points. Can't have that go down like that. We got to be able to protect the football. Guys cannot turn over the football. Don't have butter fingers, all right? We're not dealing with that. It's not Halloween. Nobody's asking what our favorite candy is, and it better not be Butterfingers. I'm not dealing with it. Next, all right, we're number 28th in the league on third down. We are 31%, 15 for 49. All right, I'm not making this up. It's absolutely atrocious. He couldn't be this bad in Madden if you put it on easy. Matter of fact, if you put it on easy, you probably convert all the time. But yeah, if it's 100%, we got to get higher at that point. It's terrible, okay? Next, in front, well, mind you, the teams we're in front of. We're in front of the Cardinals. We're in front of the Cowboys. We're in front of the Seahawks. We're in front of the Bills. 3 of those teams did not go to the postseason last year. Moreover, the Bills, the way they've been playing this season, you're probably not going to see them go into the postseason. So we're in front of a bunch of bad teams. We cannot have stuff like that go down. I know there's going to be some Cowboys fans in the comment section talking about, don't talk about them boys. It's only been the first 4 weeks of the season. We got Zeke. We got Dak. We go into the Super Bowl. But we ain't talking about them boys, all right? Next, all right, we're number 1 in penalties. Penalties, we're number 1. Did I sound that out? Penalties? What word is that? But yeah, we're number 1 in penalties. We got to play disciplined football. We can't keep giving penalties, putting a bunch of yards on the damn game. It makes no sense. You've seen it time and time again through the entire duration of the season thus far. We have had the most penalties per game in the league. It's not like, oh, we had one bad game here, another bad game here. Every single game has been bad, with the exception of this past game against Baltimore when it was down. But we've been so catastrophically bad regarding penalties through the first 3 weeks of the season. You can see how terrible it is. So we've got to get those down. We're number 17 in time of possession. I believe we're averaging about 30 minutes and a half right here. So we're about 30 minutes, 30 some seconds. That's atrocious. That's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. The way the Pittsburgh Steelers have always played football over the years, we're able to hold on to the ball. So we go out there, we're averaging about 34, maybe 35 here. We're putting the game away. We're keeping the ball out of the hands of the opposing team. When you look at the game, primarily against the Patriots last year, in which we lost because they said Jesse James' catch was not a catch, how did we get to that point? Because we held the football for the vast majority of the game and kept Brady off the field. More importantly, if we keep the opposing offenses off the field, we actually help out our defense. The best offense is, well, or I should say the best defense sometimes is a better offense. It can overcompensate for our lack of secondary if we're able to hold on to the ball. We keep those guys off the field, so their propensity of getting beat deep most of the time is lower than what it is right now, where we keep getting 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. More importantly, you're seeing our percentages on third down. Absolutely atrocious. Next, all right, we're number 28 in rushing. Number 28. That's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. We've got to be able to run the ball. We can't just go out there and then you are one-dimensional offense. We're always dropping back, throwing the ball here, throwing the ball there. It makes no sense. If you look at the percentage of our third downs, or I should say the passing for the third downs, we're at the top of the league. I believe it's either 1 or number 2 where we get first downs through passing the ball rather than running. So that really shows that we're one-dimensional. We can't get first downs if we're trying to run the ball. They don't believe in us handing it off to James Conner. We can't play football like that. We can't be one-dimensional. We got to be able to get that run game going. Moreover, this offensive line, if you've seen over the past 3 years, 4 years, we got one of the better offensive lines in the league. We got to be able to run the ball effectively. We can't keep going out there and, we're dropping back into pass all the time. We're running three and out sort of series on offense, and we're just throwing the ball every time. We got to make it believable. All right, when we talk about rushing attempts, we're also at the bottom half of the league as well. We got to get that down. We got to fix that stuff, man. Seriously, we can't play effective football like that. AB, Juju, top 6 in receptions. When it comes down to yards, AB's averaging 68 yards per game. All right? If you look the past 5 years, this man's at the top of the league. He's got to be able to get it going. I don't know what the timing issue with him and Ben is. They've got to get that fixed. They've got to get that back to whatever the hell it was, where you're looking at probably one of the most prolific QB to wide receiver duos of all time. And they're struggling now when we need them the most. They got to get that going. But in Juju's case, he's got to be able to stay consistent. He was over 100 yards the first 3 games. This past game, he had a big catch here and there, but for the most part, the Ravens took care of him. But coming up against the Falcons and through the rest of the season, you got to be able to stay consistent to what you did the first 3 games. On top of that, you're seeing Vance McDonald starting to have a bigger role in the offense. I expect to see him get the ball more, because if we look at the top 10 yardage regarding tight ends, Jesse James and Vance McDonald are both there. So we're able to diversify the ball to our different targets, but we've got to be able to build up the yardage. More importantly, get into the end zone and score through the air. Now, if we're talking defense here, we're going to move on to defense, a little bit of transition, because we know our defense absolutely atrocious. Just listen to these numbers here. We're number 30th in the league in yards. All right, so we're giving up a ton of yards. I believe we're about 411 yards, 311 through the air alone. Number 29 in the league. We can't continue to give up all these damn points through the air. All right, if you remember, not even just the points, the yardage, because we're out there looking like the Kansas City Chiefs over the past 4 years, where they constantly seeing bulk of yardage here and there, big play. I believe we're in the top 5 of the big plays down the field when we're talking 40-yard passes, 30-yard passes, 20-yard passes. We're giving up big plays. And this is happening on third down, second down, first down. It doesn't matter what down it is. We're giving up big plays. We can't play football like that. Next, 39 penalties of our number 1, holding that spot of most penalties on the league. We have 39 on the penalties on defense alone. Terrible. Absolutely atrocious. Next, 37% on third down of us being able to get off the field. That's terrible. That's terrible. Guys are going out there, they're confident. On third and long, they're confident. We put no fear in anybody defensively. We can't play football like that. Next, we're number 3 in the league in defensive snaps. We got 282 snaps on defense alone. What does that mean? We can't stop nobody. And moreover, the offense can't hold on to the ball. But defensively speaking, we can't get off the field. We cannot get 3 and outs. You can count on your hands how many 3 and outs we had this season through the first 4 games. It's ridiculous. Probably on one hand. It's absolutely atrocious. We've got to play better defense. Next, we're averaging, we've given up 116 points throughout the first 4 games. 116 points through the first 4. It's ridiculous. All right, when you think Pittsburgh Steelers, you're supposed to think defense. You think the steel curtains. You think about what was going on in the 70s. You think about the Blitzburgh, what was going on in the 90s. You think about those great defenses that led to those Super Bowl wins in 2005, 2008. You think about number 1 defense in the league through 2008 to 2011. It was here and there with the Ravens, but nonetheless, all right, you think about those defenses. Now you look at our defense and it's absolutely laughable. You give up 116 points through the first 4 games of the season. It's got to get changed. It's ridiculous. All right, we're number 4 in sacks. All right, so we're getting to the quarterback. I believe we have 13 right now. I didn't have that written down, but also we're number 6 in turnovers. So we're taking the ball away here and there, but obviously it's not enough for our offense to go out there and put up some points. But we've got to play better. Our pass rush has to be able to get to the quarterback. As you can see, we're number 4 in sacks, but that's only when we blitz here and there. Our front 4, they've got to be able to get that penetration. You saw what happened this past Sunday night when we played against the Ravens. We weren't able to get that penetration with just our front 4. We only were able to get some here and there when we blitzed. And we barely blitzed because of the woes of the secondary. So that front 4, so I'm talking Stephon Tuitt. I'm talking about Aluwalu. I'm talking about Ironhead Hayward. I'm talking about TJ Watt when his hand's in the dirt. We got to be able to get that penetration on the ground through our front 4. That way, when we have to drop our linebackers into coverage, we won't have to worry about the damn secondary playing those games. Moreover, the quarterback won't have a year to throw the ball. You saw the touchdown pass to John Brown? Look how much time Joe Flacco had in the pack. All right, we can't have that go down like that. Our front 4 got to be able to get penetration. Now, let's move on to special teams. Chris Boswell, you're number 32 in the league when we're talking about field goal percentage. All right, you're number 32 in the league. You know who's number 33? Zane Gonzalez. Do I have to say anything else? You know who Zane Gonzalez is? He took over for Nick Folk. If you didn't know who Nick Folk was, I don't think you're new. You must be new to my channel. All right, so you can't play like that, especially when you were a Pro Bowler last year. Absolutely atrocious. You've got to get your head out of your ass. Kick the ball more effectively. Stop playing like a big dummy. All right. Now, on top of that, Ryan Switzer on special teams, because we're remaining here. Ryan Switzer, you've been doing a phenomenal job since you came over. All right. I believe you were in Oakland last during the preseason. I believe that's where you were, because we know you were in Dallas playing last year. But I believe you were in Oakland last since you've come over. Phenomenal job. All right. So we're talking number 1 in the league when it comes to getting the ball returned. All right. I believe that's through kick returns. He has 11 returns. Nobody else has 11. All right. So you're number 1 regarding that. Number 4, you're number 4 in yards. So you're getting us some yards. You're not having it to where we're coming out at the 25. We're getting field position here at the 30, the 35, sometimes the 40. So we're looking good regarding returning it, but we're yet to break one. It always looks, whenever you take a punt return, I always feel confident as if you're going to be able to break one. You're yet to muff a punt, so I'm feeling good about that. Eli Rogers, those of you who remember last year, couple muff punts here and there. You ended up getting demoted, then promoted back, but right now you're on the practice squad from what I remember, or PUP list, whatever the hell it is. But Ryan Switzer, you're doing a good job. Punt returns, you're still, I believe you're number 4 in the returns number right there, and then with yards, you're number 6. So you're doing all right for yourself. All right, you're doing all right for yourself. I feel confident in Ryan Switzer. I'm hoping we can block and get a big return here and there. Now, when we talk injuries, okay, so we got 3 injuries. We got Morgan Burnett, he's still hurt. We got Hayward Bay, who just got hurt, and Vince Williams, who just got hurt. All 3 are doubtful for this upcoming game against the Falcons. So I'm hoping that they can get back, because one, for our secondary, we might just need, we're going to need a veteran back there. So I expect Burnett to get in there, because Edmonds right now is looking very lost. The kid got potential, but he's looking very lost right now. So I'm going to need Burnett to get on the field once he gets healthy. When we're talking about our linebackers, we need Williams in there. We need Williams in there, so you got to get healthy. As from what I saw, and then Hayward Bay, you're one of our better special teams players. So we're missing a key component on defense regarding Williams. Burnett back there, we need some veteran leadership back there, so we're going to need him, although he wasn't getting too much playing time when we played against the Browns, but who knows, down the season, you're going to need somebody who's been there before, and we might just need him in the lineup. And when it comes to special teams, when you look at it, most of the people who end up fielding our punts after a Barry punts it somewhere inside the 20, that's Hayward Bay. When we're talking about tackles on special team, you're talking Hayward Bay. So we're going to need guys to step up in the absence of these dudes being hurt. Now, that's enough of the stats right here. We can address the elephant in the room. Le'Veon Bell returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers week 7. That's what's rumored. Now, granted, there was something in the media talking about he has to report at week 10 at the latest, I believe. So he was going to show up at one point to get credit for this season, because I believe if he does not show up for the season, they could pretty much do the same thing next year, and we still have his rights or stuff like that. Whatever the case was, all the intangibles, I don't know how it works, but I know he has to show up at one point. If he does pull up and he plans to play, marvelous, because if you look at the offense, what's been going on, it's obvious that there's a void. It's obvious that he's necessary for this offense to really run as a well-oiled machine. All right? So, if he does pull up, whatever grievances there are in the locker room, have it aired out. There's no reason for people to be passive-aggressive. There's no reason for people not to, air out their differences. Everybody's an adult here. You can speak to each other. If you had something that you wanted to say, don't go out there and tweet people. Direct message them. You have their phone. You bought them a bunch of watches regarding Le'Veon Bell and your offensive line. You bought your offensive line a bunch of Rolexes last year. All right? So I know you got their number. If you plan on pulling up, you can let them know. You guys can speak. If somebody got a fight and you do what you do when you were younger, you fight somebody, all of a sudden now you're best friends. If that's good, what's got to happen for us to play better offensively, then so be it. If he pulls up, we welcome him with all open arms. Because last I checked, when you're trying to go on this stairway to 7 and you got the best running back in the game, hell, whether he's a prima donna or not, all that's behind me once he walks in the door. Because when you pull up to work, you came here to work. If you're just planning to do what James Harrison suggested, which if I was a football player and I wanted to get my money, I understand. But once I show up and I say I'm here to be with the team, you got to buy in. Like Cam Hayward say, either you buy in or just get out. Don't even come in. So if Le'Veon pulls up, you better buy into what the hell needs to go down so we can go and win football games. Do not come to the facility if you have no plans of playing. If you pull up, I expect you to play, and more importantly, I expect you to play at a high level, because we know who you are, we know what your reputation is, we know what you stand for. So don't come over here, I'm going through the motions in practice, here comes game time, I don't want to play. No, that's not the case. So if Le'Veon pulls up, I expect you to go out there and play effective football. Welcome back, buddy. Happy to have you. I hope you're going to have your head out your ass. There's no ego over here as we're playing throughout the season. You got contractual issues. You can deal with that outside of football. But when you line up in between those white lines, you better be ready to play. That's all I got to say about Le'Veon. I would put our hands up and, we could break, but we're going to be back for another video later. But that's been my analysis of the first quarter of the season. You guys, we're going to have a conversation here. Let me know what you think about the first quarter of the season through the first 4 weeks. Do you feel confident in this Steelers team? Do you think they're going to turn it around the same way they've done it over the past 2 seasons? Do you feel what do you believe needs to be changed outside of the obvious secondary that needs to be changed? What are the small intangibles that you recognize that was not addressed in this video? Things that have to happen. All right, and we could talk about, well, you could fire this person and fire that person. Here's the direct response to that. If you say you want Tomlin gone, if you say you want all these other people gone, the defensive coordinator Butler, if you want them gone, who is their immediate replacement? If you have a suggestion for an immediate replacement of somebody who is available, then by all means. If you cannot give me a direct replacement, let's not talk about it until the offseason, because I'm not a big fan of firings during the season. We can talk about it afterwards, but you already know what I said about it at the tail end of the last season. Tomlin, this is my last rope with you. This is it. This is it for me, all right? I've been standing in your corner for quite some time. If we can't get it done this year, I might just I got the tiki torch in my hand. It's time for you to go, all right? But we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about the first quarter of the season. So I will see you shortly for the pregame of the Falcons. Let's go Steelers.